Hello, welcome back. I hope you're all having a great weekend. So I'm here with some stories, so let's get straight into this. So we have learned that Queen Elizabeth had a wish for Prince Harry and Meghan to have continued security ahead of their move to the US in 2020. This is according to a newly revealed letter. The Queen said it was, quote, imperative that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, quote, continued to be provided with effective security, end quote, against extremists, in quotes. This was in a letter from the palace written on her behalf, provided as evidence in the High Court amid Harry's current libel lawsuit against the Mail on Sunday newspaper, according to a report from the Sunday Times. Interesting. We will also get back to the Sunday Times. They've had quite some interesting headlines, so let's put a note there. So this article goes on to say that the letter written by the Queen's private secretary, Sir Edward Young, was sent to the UK Cabinet Secretary, Sir Mark Sedwill, following the Sandringham Summit held by the Queen in January 2020. The gathering of the royal family members at the Queen's country home of Sandringham was famously held to discuss Prince Harry and Meghan's future after they announced their intentions to step back from being senior working members on January the 8th. So the letter read, quote, "You will understand well that ensuring that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain safe is of paramount importance to Her Majesty and her family." It also went on to say, quote, "Given the Duke's public profile by virtue of being born into the royal family, his military service, the Duchess's own independent profile, and the well-documented history of targeting of the Sussex family by extremists, it is imperative that the family continues to be provided with effective security," end quote. So it was also added, quote, "And of course the family is mindful of tragic incidents of the past," appearing to allude to what happened to Princess Diana. The letter also explained that the Queen and the royal family recognized the process for making decisions about publicly funded security was, quote, "independent," end quote, and are for the UK government and government of Canada and any other host government, in quotes. So this was during Friday's proceedings. The judgment explained that the letter did not refer to an offer, that is to say an offer to pay, saying, quote, "personally to reimburse or proactively to finance the cost of state security so as to not burden the taxpayer," end quote. This article goes on to talk about how RAVEC, the Home Office committee that rules on security matters, had claimed that they received no such offer. So according to a BBC report, the Mail on Sunday claimed that Prince Harry did not offer to pay for police protection after the Sandringham Summit, as the Duke's legal team argued, and only pitched the idea after initiating the claim for a judicial review. And a quick aside, I'll just interject here to say that the Duke of Sussex was also ordered by the judge, Mr. Justice Nicklin, to pay the newspaper's costs of £48,447 by 29th of December. This was after his attempt to strike out part of the paper's defense in the libel case was rejected by the judge, and he said that they have to go to trial. The Duke had tried to have the, quote, honest opinion defense thrown out, but in a judgment on Friday, the High Court judge decided it could be included and the case should go to trial. So that's just a minor bump in the road for Prince Harry. In paying for that, it does not mean that he has lost the case, but he had to cover the legal costs for the newspaper so far. But of course, Prince Harry believes that the headline by this newspaper was libelous, as it attacked his honesty and integrity. His lawyers argued for him, saying that it was inaccurate to suggest that he, quote, lied and, quote, cynically attempted to mislead public opinion. If a settlement isn't reached by both parties, the trial will be held next year between May and July. So let's keep positive and let's keep Prince Harry in our prayers and pray and hope that justice prevails. So of course, just to wrap up that part of the story, you can tell that, that's their side of the argument, and Prince Harry had argued that he had made the offer at the Sandringham Summit. So in them producing that letter to kind of buffer their own argument, it has shed light on the fact that the Queen did want Prince Harry and Meghan to have that continued police protection even after they stepped back from being senior working royal members. So a lot of you have been commenting on that and saying that the Queen truly was on Harry and Meghan's side in a way, because you could see she had said she wanted them to have, quote, effective security against extremists. And for Ravek to finally come to that conclusion that Harry no longer needed that police protection, because somehow in him stepping back, it just kind of quenched all the extremists. Of course, I'm being so sarcastic in saying that it is so evident that the Queen was for Prince Harry. I think the Queen really did love Harry in her own way, and Meghan too. You could tell how she just took to Meghan. She really wanted Meghan to be in the fold. And you remember that the Queen took her on the train. And a lot of you have been questioning that if the Queen did want the Sussexes to have that continued effective security, why then was it that it was just withdrawn from the Sussexes? And it is sad when you think about that, because they obviously went against her wish. And you know, they've always talked about how when the Queen wishes for something, for example, how she wrote down apparently that she wished for Camilla to be known as the Queen Consort, and that was taken with such weight and gravitas. It impacted everything, and everything just changed. Even till now, people call Camilla just Queen. You know, and a couple of years ago, that would have been unthinkable, right? So for her wish for the Sussexes to have that continued security, even with them stepping back and that being just cast aside, it just truly puts a whole new light on what happened in those discussions. And if Harry himself says that he had offered to pay, it seems like in this back and forth of he said or he did not say, that in them producing this letter, that it has actually gone to prove how much the Queen was for the Sussexes. And isn't it interesting when you think back to that Jubilee with all of the press coverage and how some people were quite gleeful that Harry and Meghan were, quote, sidelined, that she gave them, remember, that famous procession down on their own, and they said that was expressly a wish of the Queen herself. So it's interesting where sometimes her wishes are honored and how sometimes in this instance how they found a way to not honor that wish. Quite an interesting situation there with that information that we've received. Share your thoughts on this. As the judge, Justice Matthew Nicklin, concluded that the Duke of Sussex's lawsuit against the Mail on Sunday for libel will have to go to trial. I will be covering that, and also in a separate case related to his security in his home country, Harry is challenging the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, RAVEC, over their decision to remove his police security in the UK following he and Meghan's departure as working royals in February 2020. And I did cover his statement, so if you want to know more about him, talking about how he wanted his children to, quote, feel at home in his native country, and he said that that was not able to happen because, quote, there was no possibility to keep them safe when they are on UK soil, end quote. All this being in context of the fact that they did not have that guaranteed police protection. So if you want to know more about that, click the links in the cards and at the end screens, and I will see you there. So we also know Prince Harry shed light on the fact that he felt forced to step back from his royal duties. It's been fascinating to see some type of commentary now that we've learned that the Queen wanted them to have that police protection, trying to spin this by saying if the Queen wanted them to have security, how then did they feel forced out? Elementary, dear Watson. The Queen might have wanted them to have protection. She did show her own love to Prince Harry and Meghan in her own way, but that's one person. There are a lot of things that were going on. As Prince Harry said, there was the culture of leaking and briefing, and just the whole toxic environment that they were going through with the press. So, you know, Prince Harry saying you felt forced and still having the Queen in his corner, as it seems to be, those are not incompatible statements in and of themselves. One person showing support does not cancel out the fact that he felt forced to step back, he and Meghan, from being working royals, as well as his children, stepping them away from that environment. So I'll use that to just segue right into this as I ask you to share your thoughts on this first story. Let's talk about a toxic environment with the press. I mentioned the Sunday Times before, and it has been interesting to see a reaction to an article that they published. And this is how they titled it here on X. They said, quote, "In Genes, the Princess of Wales shows that Meghan is not the only one who can nail Californian cool, but she has a new rival in the fashion stakes, Princess Charlotte." A little arrow emoji pointing to the picture. So that's there. I did not even click on that article. I've just been going through their mentions and how a lot of you have responded to this. First of all, why would anyone even come up with this? And I love how Dr. Shola on her own X account posted and said, quote, "Why bring Meghan into it?" as a question. And yes, I absolutely agree. What an appalling thing to put as an article. And first of all, why are they trying, most importantly, to pit a child against Meghan? Now talk about a toxic environment right there. Saying that Meghan has a, quote, new rival in the fashion stakes, Princess Charlotte, end quote. What? That is a child, and I thought children were off limits. And also, why is Meghan in this? Prince Harry said no, his wife would not be used as a scapegoat. And in this case, trying to pit a child against Meghan, calling her, quote, a new rival? This is despicable, and there should be some type of pushback against this. And some of you were also saying that you were glad that Harry and Meghan's children are so well guarded and protected because, we would not want to see such types of articles about, the Sussex children. And also trying to use Meghan to prop up other people. It's just sad. Why shoehorn Meghan into this? Why do some people feel like for others to stand tall, they have to be standing on other people's backs? It's weird. It's odd. Stop. And some of you have gone in on them for even coming up with this in their mentions. And quite interestingly, a lot of you pointed to the fact that people were criticizing Meghan for being, quote, too American. And now they're trying to say that, the royals are now more American than Meghan. What is that? And the worst thing, yes, a lot of you were saying, how can you pit a grown woman against a child? It's just sad. And some of you were saying that for, this picture to have visibility, they tried to shoehorn Meghan in to prop up people clicking on. And it's just sad. So anyway, let me know what you think about this. This is just weird. Meghan is not in this competition. She's outliving her own life. She has not said anything about anyone. So why is she in this? You tell me in the comment section below. So quickly into the next story. There was this article yet again that came out that really emphasizes the fact that there is a strange type of competition that the Sussexes do not even know that they're in. Look at this from the Daily Mail, saying America's royal sweetheart, and they showed their polls for the People's Princess. And look at that poll. They put Kate at 44% as America's favorite royal, William at 36%, Harry at 28%, and Meghan at 21%. Now, this is according to the Mail. I was looking at this and I was like, nah. And I decided to do my own sleuthing. So I went to Google Trends to see if in fact this poll they took was true across the board. So here's Google Trends for you. And I focused on the United States because they are trying to say that this is America's favorite royal. They're trying to put Kate there. So let's see who is the most searched royal in the US. And I'm not even going to draw this out for you. I'm going to give you the numbers straight because as we know, the numbers never lie. So you can see there in the graph, Meghan's color in this graph is blue, Catherine is red, Prince Harry is yellow, and William is green. So look at that, the data, let it speak for itself. This is straight from Google Trends. Past 7 days, the most searched royal was, drumroll, Meghan. She's right there at the top. And after her is Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. And after him is Kate. And after her is Prince William. Now look at this. In all fairness, as I said, the math speaks for itself. And in all transparency, here we had a spike where Kate on December the 9th had her spike up there. I'm not sure which poll the Mail is taking, who they are polling, because here is the interest in the United States. So I would say their royal that they are most interested in the US is Meghan. That's her home turf. As the numbers do not lie, she is leading across the board, and after her Prince Harry, and then after that Kate, and then William. So the numbers don't lie. These numbers are for the past 7 days, and the US seems to show an overall average interest in Meghan that is higher than the rest, followed by her husband, then Kate and William. And bear in mind that Meghan has not been in the press, has not had any event in these past 7 days, yet she is the overall most searched royal. So that is quite interesting. And at the same time, in those past 7 days, Kate, for example, had the December event, and also they released their Christmas card. Yet Meghan was overall, with that short spike for Kate, that was right there. So for the Mail to claim that Kate and William are the most loved royals in the US, it is a strange thing to say, with that being juxtaposed against this graph that shows that if they are truly the most searched and loved royals, that many people are not actually checking for them. So that's a huge discrepancy in their poll, because if you love something, you tend to check up on it. So the math is not mathing. If it is true, according to the Mail poll, that people in the US are very interested in Kate and then William, it doesn't seem to mesh with the graph that shows that the overall interest is for Meghan and Harry in the US, and the numbers will never lie. And even here they have a map. Google Trends goes a step ahead and provides us with a color-coded map to see who is actually leading in most of the states. And Meghan, you can see it's almost a clean sweep in blue. Remember, in the graph before, the color code for Meghan is blue, so look at that swath of blue. Meghan is dominating, and then we see that Meghan is leading in most of the states. This is a breakdown by sub-region, and Meghan comes in first. And there is a nice little niche that Prince Harry has carved out for himself. In West Virginia, Prince Harry seems to be in the lead there with 30%, and then Meghan after him with 28%, and then Kate with 25%, and William 17%. So these are percentages calculated out of searches for all 4 terms in West Virginia. So Harry seems to be in the lead there. So that's just an interesting tidbit right here, where the map goes yellow for Prince Harry. So as you can see, Meghan is quite strong on her home turf. And of course, we get to have more numbers from the states individually, like Hawaii, California, Iowa, Idaho, on. And Meghan is truly in the lead in most of those states. So of course, I encourage you all to go and do the search yourselves and be amazed at the data that you will be able to draw from this quite precise breakdowns of every region and the interest for all of these royals named in the past 7 days. According to the Mail poll, they claim that America's favorite royals are Kate, William, Harry, and then Meghan. Not sure how they came up with those numbers. And it would make sense that people would check up on that which they love, and the math is not mathing because people in the US are not checking for them like that. Whichever polls that Mail is referring to, they can be instantly checked on and refuted on Google Trends. So you let me know what you think about these numbers that reflect which royals do actually have the interest of the people in the US. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section below. As always, before we log off, allow me to thank those who support this channel financially. To all of my Patreon, PayPal, and membership supporters, allow me here to thank you by name. A very special thank you to you. Denise Grayson, I love you and thank you for every way you have chosen to support my work here. God bless you and yours. I truly do appreciate you for your unwavering support for my work here on YouTube. Thank you as well to you, Lala. I appreciate you for being such a tremendous support for my channel throughout the years. You've been kind and so faithful and gone above and beyond. I love you. God bless you. Thank you. And a very special thank you to you, HRH Leo. Thank you for choosing to support my work. I'm moved by your giving. You are such a blessing and I appreciate your generosity. God bless you. And a very special thank you to Leola Brown. I'm so blessed to know you. I pray for God to bless you exceedingly abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. I truly love you and thank you for your faithful support. Once again, thank you to all who support my work here on YouTube. I truly do love you all. If you liked this one, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and also follow this channel on X for more posts. I hope to see you on there. Share thoughts below. I love you all, And I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed one.